Right, the first thing I'm going to do is put the slide rail on the piece of wood with no grooves down the side. This is the inner piece of wood, as I would call it. Select your side, it doesn't make any difference, they're both basically the same. Just pick the side that you want on the outside. This is all red cedar, there's a few knots in it, it's slightly rough because that's probably why it's a second. So look at both sides, that fits in the groove, that will fit in the groove, it's right in the middle. Now this has got to be tight on that piece of wood. Make sure it's tight on and hammer away. How I'm doing it, and it might even, there we are, as we get on we get quicker. And there we are, that's one side, that's the inner side done. Right, I've got my two side bits, the two interior middle bits all neatly done. It took less time this time to put the pins in because I got used to it. No flat fingers so far. I've got the two top pieces of wood. They usually have the slightly larger groove cut out, so I put those two together. The bottom two have usually got an angle here, so I put the two bottom ones together and my two side pieces. So basically all I'm going to do now is glue it into the groove. And into the other two grooves on the other piece. I have found myself a mallet. A piece of wood would, with a hammer, would be just fine. You remember to put these on the inside of the groove. The grooves are very tight, so you can see that I can move them without them falling out because they're gripping quite tight. And basically now I'm going to put the other side on. Right, this is a top bar, and basically I'm going to run some PVA in there and all the way along like so. And take this Now when you put these pieces of wood in, it tends to I just caught my thumb with the mallet there, but never mind. It'll sting later on. It's trying to keep all this together while you're doing it. Now once you start doing this with the glue, you really have to carry on and finish it off. You can't sort of mess around, because once it sets, then it's near enough permanent. Now the bottom ones have got that small B space at the bottom because of the fact that it's all the frames are flush with the top, and therefore if you had that flush all the way across you'd be crushing bees. So remember that the groove goes on the inside. Same again, a good dose of PVA. And already it's starting to look like a proper super. Obviously it hasn't been tightened up yet because we haven't had any nails in it. So, and I still want to keep it slightly loose because I haven't put the frames in yet, just to make sure of the bee space there. Right, now the main thing is these are the top of the frames, so what we've basically got to do is make sure that these are level. So that's a little bit down that side. So the best thing to do is, obviously this is my wedging bench normally and I've just covered it over, so it's a fairly hard bench, is to drop these underneath. And just tap these down on those two frames. Sometimes the wood doesn't actually match up quite with the bee space, but as long as those frames are flat at the top, it all depends on your plastic, because sometimes if you haven't got that bit of plastic, that runner, flat, you'll one side will come up. Bees are a little bit tolerant to a little bit of space, but too much and you're in trouble, or too less you're not. So that's basically now flat with the top, and you can run it all the way. Obviously there's a little bit of movement there at the moment because all the joints are still tight. So now basically what I'm going to do is put a couple of nails in to hold this